The one thing that you must master as a realtor for long-term success, longevity, security in this industry, and everything else. If you do not master this, you are screwed. Now, before I give it to you here in a few seconds, I want you to drop a comment. What do you think I'm going to say? Are you going to say prospecting, lead generation, presentations, social media presence, brand? What are you going to say? Because I'm going to give it to you here in a second. All right? Drop a comment. Now, the one thing you need to do to master this industry, this career, and to guarantee that you not only make income, but you're in the top percentage is, simply put, turning conversations into production. I'm going to repeat that. Turning conversations into production. What that means is I'm effectively engaging in conversations with people every single day. We could use business and non-business context and turning those conversations into production leads. So let's get into the nitty gritty of it. What does this mean in real time? Well, if you talk to somebody that you know, what questions are you going to ask? How are you going to lead the conversation? If they do mention a lead, how do you convert? How do you get their information? How do you close? Second, you're on the street. Somebody says, hey, how's the market? How do you navigate that conversation? Because many times I turn that into getting their contact information and in many times an appointment or some kind of commitment. Yet other people will casually have that conversation and they'll never see that person again. They'll never get their information and it won't go anywhere. Same question, two different conversations, two completely different outcomes. That's what I'm referring to here. You get a DM on Instagram, you get an email. Can you turn that into production? That's where the skill set comes in and the systems and everything else that I've been discussing and teaching now for eons. Can you do that? Can you turn a conversation into production? Now, the reason I'm giving it to you in this simple format is this so you start to realize, and I'm seeing this grand awakening from our industry, especially the newer and younger generations. I've had 3 people just in this last week alone join Distinguished Agent, my coaching program, and people are more in waves now coming to me like, hey, I need help with the traditional stuff. I need to develop my skill set. I need to become a better public speaker. I really need to build my social media and my brand. And people are really starting to flock to me. So I'm noticing that there's this grand awakening because I know, aside from all the stuff that I represent in this industry, I definitely represent the skill set and conversation and conversion, but a lot of the traditional principles, which is the human to human interaction that we've gotten so far away from with technology and AI, and people are forgetting. So now I've had a lot of people even come to me that have huge brands, right? Big followings, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, but they tell me they're not making any money. Well, I have the big brand and I know how to convert and I do the traditional stuff. So they know that there's something missing and that aha light bulb moment is finally going off for people. So if that has happened to you and you're having that aha moment, drop me a comment. Of course, check out everything I have in the description. I have a free sales quiz for you, free scripts, a ton of free resources. I'm doing 2 webinars, one this week and one next week. I'll drop those in the comment section as well in the description. And I'm doing a live expired workshop next week. I highly recommend you join that one. I just did a follow-up workshop where we did live follow-up calls and somebody actually set an appointment. We did some role play too. We're going to do the same thing with expireds. We're going to do a day of theory and then a day of actually calling them and setting appointments. So it's going to be fun. Check that stuff out in the description and the pinned comment. Conversations into production. So think about that, right? Number one, are you actually having enough conversations every day? If you guys aren't talking to at least 30 or 40 people every day, you're not even in the game. Yes, 30 or 40 new people every single day. Follow-up doesn't count as a contact, and just talking to people randomly isn't a contact. You need to talk about real estate and doing something in real estate, what their plans are, if they know anybody, right? An adult decision maker having a conversation with you about real estate, that's a contact, and it has to be new. Can't call the same person every day and ask them the same question, right? Cool. So number one, you got to be in the game. Number two is developing the skill set to handle conversations better, getting past the initial resistance, the middle part of the conversation, getting a commitment out of them, the appointment, getting their contact information, adding them to your database, whatever it is. Like my students now, if they're talking to 30 or 40 people every day, it's not out of the norm for them to get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people's contact information to add to their database, even if they're not a lead, because they're having very good conversations and connecting with people. That's what you want. That's what builds your business in the short term and the long term, because that's what this is about. If you could turn conversations into production, then you can build your business today, tomorrow, for next week, for next month, and next year which is ideally what you want to do. And it's going to require you talking to a lot of people every day and having the skill set and systems to navigate it, right? If I find out somebody's going to be ready in 2 years, I'm going to capture their information, and then I have to have a system to keep in touch with them. If they're ready in a week, I have to be able to set the appointment and meet with them. If they have objections, I have to be able to handle them. If they have delays, I have to be able to handle them. If they don't understand the process, I have to be able to educate them through that conversation. You see? I might have to be able to debunk information that people have, bad information. I may have to navigate them, nailing down the proper time frame, creating contrast with my questions to make sure that they know effectively, hey, ideally, when would you like to do that? When would you like to be in your new home, et cetera, et cetera. Let's work on it through the conversation and lead them to understanding and then getting to that outcome of getting their information or getting the appointment. You see, this is an art form, and I want you to start looking at it that way, because at the very least, at the end of this video, regardless of what you decide to do, that you'll say, okay, I need to be able to masterfully navigate conversations. That's the number one thing you have to master. The byproduct of that is going to be production and all the other stuff that you're looking for. In addition to that, it'll handle so many things that you weren't even thinking of. Like, it'll help you with your anxiety or fear of prospecting, because now you're good at it, right? Number two, it's going to make you way better on video, which will help with production. It's going to make you way better as a leader and a public speaker. That way, if you have to present or talk to people, do presentations, you're going to be a lot more confident and well-spoken, which is exactly what you want. You won't hesitate moments of confrontation. If you have to call somebody with good news or bad news or whatever it is, you're going to do it, and you're not going to hesitate, right? It's going to help in your personal life, the conversations that you have with your family, your friends, your kids, your spouse, whatever it is. You're going to navigate those situations so much better. You're going to feel like you have more charisma and charm. And overall, you're going to understand how much at that point we are social creatures as human beings, and how it directly affects your psyche. Notice, I'm not saying causation is correlation and all that, right? However, as we've gotten more disconnected from each other with technology and AI and all this, most average people are more depressed and sad and having mental health issues than ever. However, if you look overall as a society, again, causation, correlation, I'm not making that claim necessarily, we've also disconnected from each other. We're not as social as we used to be. A lot more people are socially awkward. They can't navigate a conversation. We are more disconnected from each other, although we're more connected via these devices than ever. And it's a problem. So, in summation, your ability to turn conversations into production in every varying degree of that, from getting their information to setting the appointment to doing the presentation, because the presentation in itself is a conversation that leads to a signature, right? Can you effectively do that? Can you? And can you do it at a very high level? If you master that skill as a realtor, it will benefit you tremendously. It'll iron out so many other issues that you have. And at the core, you'll have that one vital piece in place of what a highly effective salesperson and real estate agent needs to increase production, grow their business, and make this a long-lasting career. Okay? So anything I can do to help, let me know. You guys can set up a strategy call if you're interested in checking out my coaching. All the free stuff is in the description as well. The scripts, the sales quiz, grab whatever you need. It'll also automatically put you on the email list. In addition to that, remember, I'm doing 3 things. I'm doing the expired workshop next week, and I'm doing a webinar this week, which I believe is tomorrow, the day after I post this video, on the listing masterclass. And then we're doing next week one on how to choose the right brokerage. It's going to be independent of brokerages. It's not going to be a pitch fest. I'm just going to walk you guys through with one of my partners at Team BC on the decision-making process for you choosing a brokerage and how you can better navigate that for yourself so you come in with the right mindset. So expired workshop and the 2 webinars. Everything else is in the description. All right, have a good day, guys. We'll see you. Peace.